Om Sangachadvam Sambadadvam Sambho Manangsi Janatam Divabhagam Jatha Purve Sanjanana Upasate Samana Mantra Samiti Samani Samanang Manas Sahachittamesham Samanang Mantram Abhimantraeva Samanena Va Bohabisha Juhomi Shamano Va Akuti Shamana Hridayani Vaha Samanamastu Mano Yatavasu Sahasati Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. United be our gathering, united be our speech, united be our mind, all in accord. Just let it be in harmony, as in the ancient ones shared their knowledge and wisdom among themselves and outside all. United be our council, united be our assembly, united your spirit and thoughts, united your resolve, united be your hearts. May your spirits be at one, and that you may long together dwell in unity and concord. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Today, we are on the 2nd of May today, so only yesterday was May 1st. May 1st is very auspicious for this Ramakrishna Vedanta tradition, and as it also very especially for other purpose also. It is International Labor Day, so it is considered freedom from the slavery and spiritual freedom from all slavery. That's also the foundation day of the Ramakrishna mission. That was, and not only that, is a special 125th year of foundation day of the Ramakrishna mission. We know that the advent of Sri Ramakrishna is an unique phenomenon. We know that there were monastic traditions, there were Sanghas, but this Sangha, this order of monks and devotees, has a special significance to contribute to the peace, harmony, joy and blessings to the whole world. It is not for any particular country or any particular people, but for the whole humanity. It is as it were established by God Himself to lead everyone to the eternal freedom from all shackles of bondage and to the final illumination. So this is very special. El Belur Math also observed their 125th anniversary of their establishment of the foundation day of the Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna Math and Ramakrishna Mission, two organizations are there under the same management though. Ramakrishna Math is the monastery. The monks, the nuns, they constitute this Ramakrishna Math site. And mission is its application into the society. When it is done, that is the activity of the mission. First of all, this is the monastic organization as it was in the ancient time, Buddhist organization, Christianity, Jainism, we find there are monks. Their total focus is subjective development and realization of God. But that search was turned inward only, looking here. But this is a new turn is given, that you turn here, at the same time do service to God whom you see here. It was there, but its practical application was applied. That's why when Swami Vivekananda returned from this country, and first meeting he called in Calcutta, where Sri Ramakrishna used to come, frequently visit to see the devotees over there. There he called a meeting and assembled all the monastics available as also the household devotees to create a new organization which is called the mission organization. So this is a wonderful speciality of this Sangha. Sangha means congregation of people with similar ideas, similar philosophy, similar actions to undertake. Monks are the core people here, because monks means those who have given up every other pursuit. Monks means monks and nuns, every other pursuit, and to reach that ultimate goal of human life, the total freedom, God realization. That is the core spirit and power. So when many gather together, that is called a mott. In monastery is called in Catholic institutes Bihara. They are called in Buddhist terminology, in Jain terminology, they have their mandir, temple. But it is a gathering of the people who are dedicated to one purpose of God realization. But monasticism is nothing new. In India, as also in other parts of the world, but more major search we find in the Indian context, that monasticism was a tradition from the very old time. We find that Shankaracharya, when the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, he started this very beautiful verse where he gives the indication that monastic organization, it was started from the very beginning of creation, from the creation itself. Not that it has developed afterwards, but when God created two types of mentality, and he has given the expression that Sa Bhagavan, that God, the Absolute, Srishtva idam jagat. He was very happy with himself and he thought that I am alone. But suddenly a thought came, oh, I want to be many. So, Srishtva idam jagat. And as he thought, I will be many, and the whole universe came. And without spontaneity, like where breathing is spontaneous, you don't make any effort. So God's will, and it was, let there be light, and there was light. Same spirit. And then Shankara says, and now after creation, you need to preserve it, you need to protect it. So, sattasya sthiti chikitsu, how it will be maintained and sustained. For that purpose, he created. What he created? Marichiyadin agre srishtva prajapatin, the rulers who will rule the universe, whose name are Prajapati, sometimes it's called Hiranyagarbha, sometimes called Ishvara. So different departments are created, and srishtva pravitti lakshana dharmang grahemaso vedaktam. The Vedic wisdom, the Vedic teaching, that pravitti lakshana, you go to the experience the world. There is joy, there is suffering. Experience what is this universe. It is all God, it is all divine. Experience that. But when you try to experience, naturally you fell into the trap, and naturally sometimes sink, and sometimes pant for breathing, pain and suffering, sometimes joy, sometimes suffering. That's the one way. So God created this universe with name and form and beauty and all these things, and created some pure souls to follow the path through the world experience. And that we call the householder life. It is created from the very beginning. God has planned that way. And then Pravitti Lakshanam, and taught them how to live in the life and gradually go into the purer and purer and purer level to go back to their own self. And Tato Anyangscha, and then he created others. Here he created Prajapati, and there he created monks, a category of monks, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Suka, Sanak, Sanandana, Sanatana, and 4 Rishi Kumars he created. The Rishis means they are pure, totally pure. They are not interested in anything but in the realization of the self. So that is the monastic order, as it were. Pravitti Lakshana and Nivritti Lakshana. They did not turn their eyes towards anything of this world which can attract them, because they are so much pure in their heart. That is the way God created. So, Nivitti Lakshanam Dharmam. What is that dharma? The beauty of this Nivitti Dharma. These monastics are all Nivitti Dharma. What is the Nivitti Dharma? Jnana, Vairagya, knowledge and wisdom, renunciation, tremendous detachment, Grahayamaso, and then taught this lesson, how to be totally detached, how to enjoy the absolute bliss and knowledge, wisdom that was taught. So that's why it is called Dividohi Vedakta Dharma. So dharma as taught by the Vedic time, it was 2. One is Pravitti Lakshana, another is Nivritti Lakshana. One is going through the experience of life, another, such a mindset they come with. They feel least attraction for this world and least things to attract them, to deviate them from their thinking of their divine self, and they want to absorb in their self. And that's the idea of living. Monastic life means living alone. That is the idea. How Christianity also thinks like that. Monk mean, the preliminary meaning is to live alone. Alone means with God. So that is the way God created this, and to run this universe he created. That's why we find that monasticism is a part of the Sanatana Dharma. And this householder's life is also a Sanatana Dharma, path of the Sanatana Dharma. It is not bad. It is not to be rejected. But some come with the mindset like this, some come with the mindset like, but goal of both are the same, to reach the absolute bliss and absolute peace. Now, this was the way God planned. Therefore, we find that in the Upanishad also we find, there are Upanishads even totally talking about detachment and illumination. It is said that in the Upanishad, Jadharevo Virajit, Tadharevo Pravajit, as soon as one's mind becomes detached from this universe, from this world and its attraction, you need not have to wait. Wait for time, find which is the auspicious day, which year, which day. They immediately, Pravrajat, just leave your house, home, your money, your wealth, your education, your prosperity. Just go. Where do you go? Just in the road. Wander around. Round, anywhere you like. Get your food, beg. And the society used to provide them. That was the great tradition of India, that monks don't die out of hunger. Someone will provide, by God's will, of course. But devotees are also, like even in Buddhism has taken later on, they don't cook for themselves, but devotees cook and bring their food for them. because that is society is providing this monastic system for the good of the whole society. So we find that the Upanishadic time onward, this idea of monasticism is there, and there are monks who are there. In the Upanishads we find about the talking about Jaggavalka and other sages who are retiring at the last phase of life, taking the path of sannyasa. And they are free to live, and to live in joy and blessings in their alone. That was the thing, there's a wandering monks. That's why Buddha got his first inspiration. From whom? Seeing the difficulties of life, the three phases of other aspect. Jara, Vyadhi, and Mrityu. Jara, old age. When people become old like us, then what will happen? That will be tottering on the... We keep some sophisticated stick, but in early days they used to totter on a long stick. And there's no medical facilities. They used to suffer physically, whatever. There's old age. So old age everyone will have. And then Jara, Vyadhi, disease. This is a natural decay. Body engine becomes old, eyes becomes weak, so we put the glass. Ear becomes, say, so ear, what you call, ear? Hearing aid. Hearing aid. And teeth becomes loose, so we put denture. Like that, it is all, engines are saying it is old, 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 old. So Jara, it is a natural decay. And disease. And ultimately the death. But he saw another, that is the monk, who is carefree. He is free. His face is beaming with joy. So it indicates that it is Hindu, in Hindu culture, there were monastics to just purify the world. What is the purpose of these monastics? They live a spiritual life. And by their presence, they spread that spirituality by interacting sometimes or not interacting. But there was also a tradition that when there was rainy season, that rainy season is called, what is called? Rain retreat. That time, the monks, they cannot go for begging. So what they will do? So they assemble in certain place, and many monks will live together, and then devotees will supply some food. They will be talking about spiritual things and meditate and do their own practices. But the congregational idea of a Sangha, a monastic order as a whole, did not exist in those days, excepting this, what you call the rain retreat time. Even wandering monks used to, they call Chaturmasya, the 4 months of the year, when it is heavy rainy season, they used to live. I went to Narmada and found that there are certain areas, the people come that time out, they're wandering, and they're at one place, rain starts, and they gather together. And they live over there, and they pray, they do their spiritual practice. So that is the gathering period together. But as a Sangha, it didn't happen so easily until when you find that Buddha's time. And Buddha also, following the same tradition of the ancient India. He was enlightened, so he was seeking to give this wisdom. Then he found the disciples who abandoned him at the very beginning, thinking that he has lost his austerity. So they left him, and now he caught them in Benares and found them, and they transformed them. And they saw an illumined person, a different person, Buddha, the illumined. And then they took refuge in him, Buddhang Sharanang Gacchami. And now following that, he went on wandering around the whole country. And naturally, people are trying to get illumination, came to Buddha. Buddha initiated them, give them some instruction. Many of them become monk, mostly the monks. and then started to follow. And Buddha's time, we find that the rich people of the society, they're called sreshtis. Sreshtis means business class people. They have money, and they used to help keeping these saints together in that period, the period of rain retreat time, and that's called they're called Bona or Bihara camps. There, Jetobon and other some names where big gathering of the monks will happen, and the sadhus will live there and talk and discuss. And gradually, it took into a form of monastic gathering together. And that is the way the Sangha gradually, Buddhistic organization started with the Sangha idea. But their focus was more introvert and only on the preaching and meditation. That's why in Buddhism you will find more focus is on meditation. Of course, rituals are also there. These are all different subdivisions of the teaching. As time goes on, it takes its own shape and form. But the Buddha's that teaching was, we all know, whatever the lesson is there, Buddha by his own exemplary life, being the example, sitting with them, and they got the inspiration. Ananda was the prime student who understood Buddha in his highest aspect, and then he actually put his total focus on creating people who will be just inspired to live this life of freedom. So that way Buddha started this, and so that there Buddha, Dharma and Sangha came, the idea. That the disciples used to think Buddha is the ideal, Buddha will be the lifestyle, how he lives, how he talks, to live in that, living our life in the caste of Buddha. That was the Buddhaṃ Saranam Gacchami. Buddha's life, Buddha's inspiration, Buddha's experiences. And the Dharma, they laid down the Dharma, the Eightfold Path, noble truth, etc., foundation, on that foundation, to follow that Dharma, what has been said, Dharma, the wheel chakra. And Sanghaṃ Saranam Gacchami, the total Sangha, the order of Sangha. Sangha has its good side, Sangha has its bad side. Sangha is for ordinary people coming into a machine, as it were, uncut pieces. When you get into the machine cuts and prunes and shapes and sizes, and then comes out a product, fine product. But those who are extraordinary, it is difficult for them. Sangha sometimes becomes a bondage because they are beyond. So, but most of the people, Sangha life is wonderful because it makes our life smooth and make it perfectly clean and pure to the purpose to reach the goal of our life. So Sangha Jivan, Sangha life is it's called the associate monastic group who look after each other and jointly meditation, joint prayer, joint things, give inspiration to each other, and also if any failures and faults are there, that can be corrected in that organization. So Sangha has this unique opportunity. Anyone joining in the Sangha, we come as a raw. Raw means uncut. I have my past habits. I sit one way, I talk another way, I live another way, I think another way. But when you come into the monastic order, then what will happen? They think, they also sit together, but they sit together, they talk together, but what they talk about, what they think about, what they practice whole day, how they live together. So these are the special training. We go through that. Gradually, our mind becomes then tuned to higher level of consciousness. Our characters improve, and then we, following some examples before us, then we mold our life in that life. That is Dharma, Buddha, and those following the dictums and the rules prescribed by how to be a perfect man, that instruction, then Sangha, Dharma and Sangha. So these are the three great ideal which has been found in Buddhism and also in Jainism. Jains are the same. Jains and monks and nuns, they have their monasteries. There is a huge town which is called the Palitana. It's full of monastery. They have the two divisions, Digambar and Shetambar, two types of monks, those who wear clothing and those who are so renunciate they don't take care of them, they live silently in their meditation and prayer. They are called Digambar Jains. But their fundamental, Buddhism and Jainism have the fundamental philosophy of what? Philosophy of non-injury as the greatest virtue, not to hurt anyone. That is the foundational thing. And they actually are supported by the same supported by the society, so that they can get the benefit, spiritual benefit of it, and they can do their own spiritual growth amongst themselves, and they give the blessings to the society. Christian monastics, we find that it is Christ was coming from what? Background. His teacher was who? John the Baptist. John the Baptist was a monk. And he used to live in seclusion and he used to calling upon God and God. So we find Christ became himself a source of the organization. That's why every great religion, behind them you find one special, powerful, very extraordinary powerful person who is like godlike. And for the good, as we just didn't read that much in the introduction of the Shankara, that they come, God comes down to restore order in the society, to bring spirituality into the society. When the decadence of spirituality happens, he comes again. So we find that this Christ came, the same great spiritual power, so God himself came, and there we find that he took the path of this being taught under John Baptist, and they created a huge organization, Catholic monasteries, abbeys, priories, hermitages. There's three different types of monasteries all over, and thousands of dedicated people give up their life for this God realization, following the path of Christ, which is called Christianity. So we find that this tradition of renouncing the world, gathering together in the name of God, doing good to the world, all are there forever from the very beginning, as we found from our Upanishadic time to Buddhistic time. Buddha and Jains were almost contemporary, not much different. Their appearance was almost contemporary. But afterwards even, we find that monastic order is going on. After Buddhism, Sangha idea came and it was continuing. But we find that, yes, this Ramakrishna tradition has a new contribution into it, has a special focus on it, how these monasteries will run and how it started. It didn't start with a plan as that, oh, we'll sit together and make a corporation tomorrow and register it with the 501c3. That's not the way. Neither Buddha did that way, neither Jain Tirthankars did that, neither Christ did that. So Ramakrishna didn't do that. He has no idea of this organization, how to start. But he was a great organizer, greatest organizer. In the book, Swami Sarvadevananda has written, if we read the book, that the original thoughts of these Ramakrishna monasteries in the early days. It's a beautiful book where he has analyzed how his capacity to organize was unparalleled. He was so expert. Not knowing anything, he created the whole organization. And how it happened? The same purpose is that when it was a need, so God came. And Ramakrishna started this monastery, what we belong to now. We belong to the Ramakrishna monastery. Actually, we call Mutt, Ramakrishna Mutt. But who has founded this Ramakrishna Mutt? Some people say Vivekananda has founded this Mutt. Of course, it is Vivekananda who has organized it and founded it. But actual foundation was given by Sri Ramakrishna himself. One day, sometime, this Lady Minto, she went to visit our Belur Math, and he met Swami Shivananda. And seeing the monastery and the monks, she said, "Oh, Swami Vivekananda did all these things." But Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda said, "Yes, but actually it was done by Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna started this mott." And also, Swami Vivekananda had to face many challenges when he brought this idea of organizing and doing all these things. Swami Vivekananda was criticized by his brother monks. They said that you are bringing you went to the West and brought some ideas of congregation or the meeting, Sangha or corporate structure, how to build up organizational teaching you have got. So you are making us do like becoming organization, secretary, president, this, that. Ramakrishna said, "Is that the goal? No. Meditate, do, realize God. Why are you bringing all this work, philosophy of doing work and going for schools, colleges, hospitals? You are now inspiring. What type of?" So he was challenged sometimes. But it is Sri Ramakrishna, he said that, "Do you think that you know everything? Do you know what Ramakrishna used to teach me? When I was in Dakshineshwar, he used to shut the door and taught me. I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything. He is doing to me only." So that's a very unique thing to understand. So Ramakrishna actually created this Ramakrishna monastery. And what we belong to, we are Ramakrishna monks. We work in the mission. Two segments are there. One is the mission, another is the mott. Primarily we are mott. Sometimes we jokingly say we are given loan to the mission. Mott sadhus are given loan to the mission, to work the mission. Actually whatever they do, but they belong to the mott. So Ramakrishna Mott. So it is named after Ramakrishna. That Ramakrishna, what he said, that when he came, if we look at his message, there are two personalities are working in Ramakrishna. First, we find that one is Ramakrishna as a devotee, and another is God himself. He is taking, and also Ramakrishna pointed out again, the Mother Kali is only working through her, or working through him. So Mother Kali's dictate is going on the body is Ramakrishna, but it is, she is working. So that is the two aspects, and in that second point we find that when the devotees are coming, Ramakrishna, after having his all the sadhana, fundamental point, it is not a political organization, that's why there is no connection with politics. It is not social organization, but we do social work. It is spiritual organization, totally based on the foundation of realizing God and God alone. So that's why Sri Ramakrishna, when he had the cancer and he developed such acute pain, after realizing his all paths and all ways of God realization, which is unique in the history, we never find another person who got it, who did it in one life. All the paths of spiritual disciplines, following that and imbibing into it and becoming an embodiment of all of them. It is a unique phenomenon. And that was never seen before Ramakrishna. After that, he cried. He cried for humanity. Once he cried for, it's called the Bhagavat Mukhi Prem, Manavo Mukhi Prem. He loved, his focus was God, 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 Mother, Divine, Absolute, Brahman, whatever name, Ma Kali, whatever name. Crying, 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 going inside. And now that love flowed into the whole universe. The whole universe is God. So this is a unique phenomenon. Every spiritual leader have this experience. But this was a special time in Ramakrishna, where he has experienced this, and to focus into the whole universe, his struggle started. He had a mission. He had a mission to spread this message to the whole world. And until and one, he says, Swami Vivekananda's word, until the whole world shall know that he is one with God. What mission of Ramakrishna. That was started in that area by Ramakrishna himself, practicing all these disciplines and manifesting that spirituality in him. Then he started doing two things. He cried for the young people to come, cried for the devotees. And therefore devotees came, the master, writer of the gospel. Their Girish Ghosh came, extraordinary devotees. Ram Babu came, Mahendra Sarkar came. Great people of that time, Keshav Sen came. And all of them, those who have little something, they are all drawn. And a couple of young people came. These young people were pure in heart. He was waiting and waiting and waiting. He has a plan that they will all come in his mission. And then he brought them. And the tie is love only. He loved everyone unconditionally in such a way. Everyone used to say, we know our mom loves us, our dad loves us, our friend loves us. It's unparalleled, this love, the Sri Ramakrishna's love. So such is the tremendous attraction of that love that they fall all slave. That's why Swami Vivekananda said he was a very difficult person to be accepted by Ramakrishna, was trying to make him understand, but he was not an easy guy. He will test, question, day and night, check on him and find whether genuine religion is there or not, spirituality. So he did that. And as a result, by his unique character, he drew all the young people. And then he got into cancer. See, cancer is also, it is, some people say he took that cancer because to suffer for the humanity. What you call vicarious atonement. As we think that Christ was suffered for us, so he has suffered for us, so we have to do nothing. We can sing, dance, and go only in the church for 1 hour, and then we will be free. No. But he has suffered so much. How much we should think about him then, who has done so much good for our redemption. So he cried and he took that. That is the convention. The Girish had the sin, taking the sin of Girish, he had the throat cancer. But another philosophy is there. He took it. There's a mission behind it. Anything done by the incarnation is not an ordinary thing. There is a deep significance in it. So when it happened, then there were two types of people used to come. From Calcutta, a huge number of people are coming because newspaper and others are talking about Ramakrishna, Paramahansa. They thought that Paramahansa is like a tiger or animal in the zoo. So they used to, being interested, Paramahansa, what is Paramahansa? Let us go and check on. So there is a rush of people, rubbish, they have no concept of spirituality or anything. Out of curiosity, people started coming. That was one group. Out of that, some people came and fall in love with Ramakrishna. They have some metal in them, and they fall in love, householder devotees, other deputy magistrate, right from there to the most ordinary people. And they're coming, rushing, and he felt the pain in the throat, and gradually what happened? That dismissed the mystery-mongering people who used to come. Fun to see Paramahansa, that type of people said, oh, he is Paramahansa and he has his cancer. What type of Paramahansa is he? As people say about Christ, no? Oh, he is God himself, he says, and he cannot save himself. You God, you save yourself. You cannot? What type of God? So those type of people is a separation. You can say finding the true people out of so many mess of unnecessary people. Mass versus genuine people. So Sri Ramakrishna, this is the selection of two categories. Antaranga means who are close circle, inner circle people, and those who are outer circle people, and those who are mystery mongers. Three categories. Sri Ramakrishna said that Antaranga and Bahiranga, it is like the pillars inside the temple, inside the sanctum sanctorium, and inside the bathroom also. They are all pillars, but some are very close, some are little. Who are close? Ramakrishna is an embodiment of renunciation, experience, purity, love. So those who have that type of character, they came close circle. Like Vivekananda, Brahmananda, Shivananda, they are the inner circle people. No? And even in that inner circle came some devotees also. This is the uniqueness of all incarnation. It is not the monks only, not Naren Rakhal, etc. Aim was there. There is in Bangladesh, Vijay Krishna Goswami, and also Balaram Bose, and all these different devotees as we name. Swami Chaitananda's book is there, you can read from there. So how they are really searching for God, and they are the inner circle. And outer circle, those who are just from outside, they can help. So these two types of, and Sri Ramakrishna used to say, those who have given up their hearth and home and have come here, they are my inner circle people. And then, and those other people, one type of people is the Antaranga. Who are they? Ramakrishna said, for the inner circle people, they will have to do one thing. They have to know two things. Who am I? Who are they? And what is the relationship? I am the divine, I am the Lord himself of the world, Ramakrishna. And you are also Satchidananda, only human God. To know who is me, who is there, and what is the relationship, eternal relationship. To know they are the inner circle people, and out of the outer circle, they say, okay, oh Lord, help me, kind. Why you are asking me? Kind, help. You are me. You are the same reality as in me. So that's the inner circle and outer circle. That is the way they divided. And among them, Sri Ramakrishna selected those powerful young boy who are character, who is strong in mind, pure in character, and dedicated to the realization of God. Among them, Naren was their leader, and he trained them in their spiritual path. And then he is trying to gather together. Because of his sickness or the cancer, these boys were called together to serve him. We need who will serve him. So that's why in the reason of serving him, they gathered together. That is the beginning of the Ramakrishna monastery there. And that has happened first it started actually in the Kasipur garden house. Of course there were, before that, Sampukur, there Ramakrishna also went there. And that was more intense was in the Kasipur days, when they gathered together all these young boys, day and night serving him, seeing a man intoxicated in God and intoxicated in divine ecstasy, even in that health condition, and seeing that life, and they stepped themselves in deep spiritual practice, serving Ramakrishna and doing deep spiritual practice. The whole world is forgotten. So they achieved their highest nirvikalpa samadhi, etc., in presence of Sri Ramakrishna. So he created his next powerful messengers who will carry his message. Who will carry the message unless they themselves are great conduit to carry those powerful spiritual tradition. So Sangha then started with these boys, and also he gave one day some of the what you call the Gerua cloths, no? And not only that, he gave the Gerua cloth, meaning he is sanctioning that you are all monks. Also including that there was one given to whom? Girish Ghosh also got one. So Girish Ghosh is a householder. But he was given a Gerua cloth because a monk. That means you see how the inner personality Ramakrishna saw and gave that, no? And that is the way this Gerua distribution of the cloth were done. And also Ramakrishna is to send them, go and beg. Hurry, they come from different respectable families. Someone landlord's family, landlord, and they go for begging. And he made them go and beg. And he used to say, hey, begging food is very good, you know. Yeah, that food is very pure food. If you eat, then it will make you pure. So, and he used to wait, and then they used to bring the begging food, and they used to take a bite out of that to encourage them. So you see that Sri Ramakrishna is actually building up this Ramakrishna monastery. And that Ramakrishna monastery, on the first day of January, what is that year? 1st January, Kalpataru? 1896, no? 1886. 1886. So, in that time, we find that when everyone, Ramakrishna is touching everyone, all the devotees, and then who are shouting, hey, come, come, Sri Ramakrishna is touching everyone and giving all these experiences, no? Latu and others were only, they heard the voice, but they didn't come down. They thought it is more important to put the bedding into the sun, because Ramakrishna is always in the bed, so this is the opportunity we can clean them. So they got more involved in serving Ramakrishna because they got this experience every now and then. So they don't care for that anymore. Right? It was not a very first experience in their life. So we find that Sri Ramakrishna, by this way, making them highly spiritual personalities, deep in their ecstasy, deep in their samadhi, they gave the test of spirituality and built up that way. And then ultimately, very important point, he one day called Naren. And called Naren and said, oh, Naren, come. And he touched him. And Naren went into samadhi. And when he came out of that samadhi, he saw Ramakrishna's tears. He said, why are you weeping? Oh, Naren, I have become a fakir. I have become a beggar. Giving away all I have collected all through my spiritual practices. And I have become a beggar by giving you everything. That spiritual power, transmission of the spiritual power. And he said there, you know, you are the most bright and brilliant boy among all these younger boys. You make it sure they stay together and look at their spiritual welfare. He is making him the leader. And also, last time when he wanted to just wrote in a piece of paper, Naren শিক্ষে দিবে, Naren will teach. যখন ঘরে বাইরে হাঁক দিবে, when he'll be roaring like a lion in home and in the outer world. Actually it happened. He roared in the west, no? And he went back and roared in the east. And his whole India was awakened. And the whole slumber of the west, thinking spirituality make the target of life, religion, not the religion, but the practice of spirituality has been encouraged by Vivekananda. So he created this order himself. Ramakrishna, the Grihastha, he made them the sannyasi. It is called Grihastha sannyasi. Girish Ghosh and others, they become saints afterwards. No? Aim, become saint like that. So they are all sannyasi. Outwardly they live in the world as it were. Their heart was full of sannyasa. So this is the order which has been created in these two places by the grihastha or the householders, as also the sannyasis, with the spirit of that highest knowledge and wisdom. And centering around this, the Ramakrishna order was created, and there come also the personality of Holy Mother. After Ramakrishna passing away, Naren himself wrote, who would care for us? It is only the Mother who looked upon us and took care of us all the time, no? So, Holy Mother, Ramakrishna Holy Mother, Vivekananda, the founder of this holy organization, and it is built on the deep connection of love and reverence, deep love and profound reverence for Sri Rama. So, Ramakrishna Saranang Gacchami. No? Their life was dedicated to Ramakrishna. Then, after this, Ramakrishna passed away. Then what happened? Then these boys were nobody to look after, so they have no home. They become a wandering monk, some of them. And then Sri Ramakrishna came again, who is the founder of the organization, in the dream of Suresh Mittir. He used to give some money while Ramakrishna was in the physical body for his treatment and house rent, etc. He said, "Hey, you, my children are there, go and do something, sit together, don't go away separately. Join together." And Naren also got a vision. And this devotee also got a vision. And they came together and started a meeting and started, okay, find a place where you all will be there meditating and praying and leading that. And we will also come to study. That time there was no idea of a big monastic organization. Neither in Swamiji's mind or any. But some inspiration was inside all the time. And then we find that, see, they purchased, they found a rented house. And that is the Baranagar monastery. That's a big history, how they used to live in that monastery, these 16 mad guys, mad for God. They have no clothing, they have no food, there is no warm wrapper. It's just day and night intoxicated in japa, meditation, prayer. And a spiritual dynamo is being created. And that this whole organization is Ramakrishna's power and the sadhana and the spiritual practices of all the direct disciples. Intense spiritual practice. He used to say, even the ghosts will run away if they see this type of austerities. Ghosts can live without food. But ghosts will run away, seeing this type of deep austerity, what Ramakrishna's children are doing. And they are coming from such elegant homes, and they have there so much of other amenities, but they forgot. It is no pain for them. Someday they have no food. And Soshi Maharaj used to run to the next door. There is a garden house. All the spinach which grows on the pond side, say, and mud in the mud, so nobody eats them excepting cows. So this Swami Ramakrishna Nanda, Soshi Maharaj, used to sometimes go, nothing to offer today, and nothing to eat. Oh, he will go and pull some spinach like that, and cut that and then boil it, simple boiling, and offer it to Thakur and then eat. Some day no rice, nothing. But everyone is steeped in meditation. Who cares where is food or not? One day there was nothing. Ultimately, they found that Sushi Maharaj found a little, one handful of rice maybe there. And then he put into the boiling, and then rice was boiled, and that was offered to the Sri Ramakrishna. That was the food that day. And then he make a small round balls of rice. Say maybe how many of them are there? Maybe 16 or 13 or 14 that day, I do not know. He made 13 round balls like that and went to everyone. Everyone is meditating. Then he said, hey, eat. And then to put them out, one ball. That was the day, the whole day's food. That was their tremendous austerity. And then Sri Ramakrishna organization started there. We'll have to continue it for another day. We'll talk about from Baranagar day story to further to the up-to-date condition. Next time we'll make a second series of this talk. Okay, thank you. My point is that this, to understand, we are taking this as the foundation day of the Ramakrishna order, which started in 1897, May 1, and now it will be 125th year, just yesterday, when today is 125th year, we're celebrating that way. And to understand, this is a monastic organization, but not restricted to the monastic. It is not monastic only men folks organization, it is women also. But women folk and men folk in Buddhism and Christianity was different than that of this Vedanta or this Ramakrishna Vedanta movement. It is given a different twist, though we may not understand in this country, but in India it is considered that it is the women's organization totally having total freedom, having the same ideal, but they have their own way of working. So that is uniqueness, and the uniqueness purpose is that somebody thought that this message will go on. These centers are created as a part of the Sangha. This Sangha has a great mission. It will go, it will preach the message day and night, and the people who are preaching, they will live their spiritual life. And because of this combination of that, the message will go and change the mind of everyone. Ultimately, such a society will be that everyone will find the sages walking in the street. That was Swami Vivekananda's idea. Could you imagine? What a great idea Swamiji keeps for this Sangha. So this is called the pure Sangha, the spiritual Sangha. And gathering of not only for the monks, but the devotees and the combination of all. Thank you. Jai Mata. I will conclude this first and then we'll go for the question answer. Thank you for all joining. So the situation is improving as we hear. We may open up sometime, but we do not know when. It will be, you will all know through our website. And I will conclude this. Om apyayantu mamangani bhakpranas chakshu sotram mathabalam indriyani cha sarvani sarvam brahma upanishadam maham brahma nirakurjang mama brahma nirakarut anirakaranamastu anirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirateja upanishatsu dharmaha te mai shantu om shanti shanti shanti. Om, may all functions of our minds, the works of our bodies and the activities of our senses please the Almighty Brahman who is described in Vedanta. May we not forget him, may we realize his presence in us, may we not be forsaken by him, may all divine qualities adorn our souls and bring peace to our minds. Om, peace, peace, peace. Is there any question?
We have a question from Kumar. Sri Ramakrishna says, once in a while, householders should stay away from home and practice sadhana in solace. Vivekananda also says, unless monastic life is embraced, Brahmajnana is not possible. Is Ramakrishna order offering any facility for lay disciples to experience monastic life?
Yeah, I think you have caught the right point. If God realization is the goal of life, God, where is God, there is no mammon. God and mammon cannot go together. Where there is knowledge, there is no ignorance. So when there is love for God, there cannot be love for the world. If the love for world is there, then it is still something to go forward till you reach the fullness. No? Therefore, yes, without a monk becoming a monk, no one can realize God. If someone says, though it is a strong word, but in spirit we have to take it. Not that you have to give up your home and take a gerua cloth tomorrow. But the spirit, what is indicated in our scripture is the renunciation. Ramakrishna said renunciation. Renunciation means love for God. So intense that mind does not go into the world at all. But those who cannot do that, they are in the world. Are they going to some other place? No. If they are sincere, they will realize the same God. That's why Ramakrishna came. So Ramakrishna order is that. And the second question, is there any opportunity to have? We have for the younger people to experience monastic experience. So they can apply to us. And not now, it's a pandemic is going on, we are not opening up that much. But soon maybe we'll do that if possible. So you can go to our website and find that there is a form and can fill up. But it is mainly centered around the college and university students who want to experience a monastic life. But you can go to any retreat center. We have Ganges Retreat Center in Chicago. We have Ridgely Retreat. It's not open, but you can try to go to any of our Vedanta center where there is a possibility of having some type of guest house. You can stay with them for 5 days, 3 days, 7 days, and can experience how the monks live, how you get up a routine. In the morning you get up, you come to the temple, then you do your prayers and meditation, little reading and this and chanting and that, and then see how noontime again meditate, and then go for doing something service, and then go for again evening prayer, and then read. If anyone wants to take a benefit of it, there are ample opportunities. Yes, you can try that, but you'll have to explore those things where it is available and who have the provision to give. Not every center are equipped with that. But we are also having some opportunity maybe, but not this time. That's the point.
Question from Kiran. Is it because of such intense austerities that the health of all the direct disciples became so poor later on? Or does that also have an added significance, like Thakur's illness?
Let us take realistically, you can take two ways. If you say God brings His own people, and we call them their special people, because they are not like us. They are extremely pure people. They only come when God comes. Huh? We are not invited there. Even if we are invited, we don't understand them. We will criticize them. Better not to come with their time. But those who are fortunate have the mindset to understand. They are very pure and very elevated in their height. God only selects, hey, you come with me. I am now going for this. A selection committee, he is the selection committee member and boss. He selects, you Naren, you are in Samadhi, come back. Oh, Rakhal, you are here, come with me. Oh, you are with the Christ, you come back with me. So he has selected some people. Yes, that's why they can do so much austerity. We have to understand. When some of our earlier Swamis asked Swami Brahmananda and others to go for austerities, then Brahmananda Swami said, what austerity will you do? What capacity you have? You fast for 3 days, you will be lying down in the bed. Huh? And you do like austerity like them? The day and night, 24 hours is going on without food. They don't think that they are in trouble. So I think that their austerity level is so high because they are so pure soul. So it has its significance that yes, if one's mind goes to God so deeply, they don't care for the body. But God brings them, so wants to get something out of them. When the work is done, then you go home. Ramakrishna releases them. Your work is done. Say, Naren, he begged very much. Come. And he had to go to the seventh plane. No, it's beyond the plane where 7 sages are meditating eternally. He had to go so far and embrace him. Hey, I'm going, you come. So he was not willing to come. So he stayed only 39 years and 6 months, enough. Ramakrishna said, okay, now you go. Your work, mission is done here. So they come for a special mission. So as they come for a special mission, maybe their staying here is also restricted. Also to exemplify before us, like Mahapurush Maharaj, suffering so much. Right side, entire paralysis. He was in the bed, could not speak anything. Months. And blessing, like anyhow, raising the left hand, blessing like that. No? That's an example. Being in that condition, not Ramakrishna. He is God, okay. What about Mahapurush Maharaj? You can lift your mind in such a place. Body is doing body's action. You are not connected with it. And body's austerity will make it emaciated. But I don't think that austerity only killed them. But many young people are dying. Many people are dying with full meal, eating more. They are also getting sick. So I would suggest that I would think in this way that they are special people. Their God's mission is there. So they do for our good, to exemplify, to set an example before us, and how to love God, how to forget the body. And body will go anyway. What's there in it? Can anyone keep the body? So if it goes for thinking about God, and you become a pure soul, your very bone becomes pure. So how much benefit will come to the society? To exemplify that, probably that may be another reason. Oh, okay, thank you.
In relation to asking souls to come with him, PD asks, if souls completely lose all individuality after realization, how do we account for this ability of Sri Ramakrishna to ask people, do you come? If all the individuality is lost in the realization.
So if he can create this whole universe, as he said, that I was alone, he was the only one person, and he became two. And it is called Ishvara. Ishvara has the power to do, and it is not pain for them, because when they come even, how the individuality remains. Yes, individuality merges, but by God's will only, it is said, they keep their little trace of ignorance. Like Vivekananda came and worked. Then 90% mind is pure, but 10% mind was in the world. No? Swami Brahmananda said, you are talking about work is so difficult, I cannot do so much work. Keep 1% of the mind, 99% of your mind, keep it in God, and you can keep 1% in the world. You will be able to do more work than as you think about yourself. That means the work is nothing for a person whose 90% mind goes to God. 10% mind in the world or 5% mind is enough. But for us, because our mind has not gone to God, because we don't have any connection there, therefore we are exhausted physically. That's why even what we do, we have seen our Swamis, how much say, we have seen our Gambhirananda Maharaj, Bhuteshananda Maharaj, say Madhavananda Maharaj I also saw, but saw working Vireshwarananda Maharaj day and night, so much work, so much fresh. We work and our face becomes clumsy. I have worked so much, as if anyone can see, I worked so hard. But you see, they are working so hard and serious problem in their mind, but so energetic, so fresh, as if they are doing this, actually just finished the puja. Just you are coming out of meditation. How will be your face? It is like that. So that is something special to think about.
Logan asks, in the future, will you also speak on Holy Mother's contribution to the Martin mission?
I hope so, because we have kept it another session for that reason. We can think about Mother, but there is so many things to say. That Mother's think about, my wish will be there to say something also. Yes, about Mother.
Swaranindu asks, what lesson one can take away after a period of suffering in one's life?
Listen, suffering actually is a good teacher. Suffering teaches us what? First of all, this world is meaningless. Attraction of the world goes away when we suffer. Our idea goes towards something higher. This life is not all. Where can I find no suffering? Where can I find a place where there is no suffering? That search starts. That's why in Indian tradition, suffering is not considered bad. Rather, it is considered that opens up a channel for our knowing our real identity. That's why it says, dukkhatrayo obhighatat jigyasa. Jigyasa means questioning come. Why I am suffering? Why not the other people? Why I am suffering? What did I do? Did I do anything wrong? Can I correct it? Or I can improve? So that gives an opportunity to question. Our normal life is no question. We eat, sleep, and do, and die. It is called the normal sutapanna life. Life of flowing in the tide, or flowing in the flow of the water. In the river you go, in the Mississippi. You see the water moves. You no attempt. Water takes here, you go there, you go there. But spiritual life should be questioning why I am here, why I am tormented in the life's trouble, why people can bother me, why anyone can create suffering for me. Because I am weak. Who can create suffering for me if I am Atman? Why not that question comes? Why I become so weak? Who has made me weak? It is me. So these questions come. So dukkha, suffering, can be a source of this inspiration. But the point is understood that if it is too much suffering, we cannot bear, then it brings us to depression. In that depressed condition, you have to go to doctor, psychologist and psychiatrist, and also get some strength from people who are strong-minded people, those who have overcome. Everyone goes to depression sometime or other because of frustration, because of something not happening. But we have to get above that this dukkha, suffering, gives us a boosting also.
A follow-up question. I thought the idea of a trace of ignorance applies to being embodied. Does a trace of ignorance exist even after realization? Isn't that a contradiction in terms? Mm-hmm. Not only after realization, but after leaving the body also?
Yeah, that you see, Ramakrishna was in the samadhi. So do you agree that Ramakrishna had samadhi? If you agree, Swami Vivekananda had samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. Totapuri had samadhi, yes, is it? But how he then, after samadhi, came to Dakshineshwar to give mantra to Swami Sri Ramakrishna, and how he lived so many days. That means, when prarabdha continues, so long prarabdha continues, our actions of the past life continues, even one realizes God, he comes back to that level again in the body consciousness. If 21 days one lives in samadhi, he cannot come back, that's okay. But everything is in the domain of God who has created this universe. You cannot say God cannot keep little ego. Ramakrishna said, God, Ma has kept little ego. In Ramakrishna, a little trace of ego is kept. That is that true. It is to be understood. That is not any misery. We have no idea of that. Suppose if you see infinite ocean of joy and light with a dark wall, we don't see what is going on the other side. We are ignorant. But this ignorance becomes thinner and thinner and thinner and becomes like a transparent glass. Then you see that light, you feel that heat, feel that joy. If it transports your whole body, is that a joyful state or it is a miserable state? That's the sabikalpa state. This is called bhava mukha. So we have no idea about that. That is not a ignorant state, but that ignorance is blessed ignorance, because that gives the touch of really, what is God, what is called Brahman, what is called Ananda. So, by God's will, for the good of the world, as scripture suggests, they can keep. It is not contradictory, because they are not ignorant like us. We see the world as world, but that which person of wisdom sees God and the name and form. Our old scriptures are replete with this example. They see the gold, at the same time the ornament. Their gold knowledge never goes away. They see the water as also the waves and ripples and bubbles and snow and foam, everything. So it does not bother. It is not ignorant condition like us. It is a most joyful. That's why Sadananda Shukhe Bhase Samajodi Fire Chai. In that state, after Fire Chai means looking back into the ocean of consciousness, then they come down. It's a joy of blessedness. Rupe Rashe, in the form, in the name, in the sun, in the moon, in the plant, in the trees, in the human being, in the rock, in the mountain, in the creeper and creature. Everywhere is God, vibrating, vibrating. What a joy. Seeing God hand face to face. That's called the aparaksha anubhuti. After that, this world is a mart of joy. So, though ignorance, but it is not the ignorance as we think about. It is a transparency such that you can feel the heat, the joy of it, you can feel the consciousness, you can feel the existence all the time. So that will not obstruct any knowledge. So I think that's okay by God's will.
Another question from Kiran. Is Ramakrishna Loka such a place without any suffering and filled only with bliss?
Yeah. You know, Ramakrishna Loka is a Loka means what? Loka means abode. The Sanskrit word Loka, it means abode. Abode of what? Abode of plenitude, abode of joy, abode of fun. And Ramakrishna is the abode of bliss. Because in Ramakrishna there is nothing but God and divine and joy. So, if you think Ramakrishna is such a perfected person living in a particular divine plane where is only God and is singing, dancing and giving advice like we read in the Gospel, and you think of him like that and want to enjoy his company, then after death you can live there with him. That is called the Ramakrishna Loka. But if you think Ramakrishna is Brahman, then you will go into the Brahman consciousness. He is Brahman. Ramakrishna is everything. Ramakrishna is Rama. Ramakrishna is Krishna. Ramakrishna is Christ. Ramakrishna is Buddha. Ramakrishna is Kali. Ramakrishna is Durga. How you think about Ramakrishna, accordingly your mind will be lifted into that awareness and consciousness, and you live in that abode, in that plane. There is infinite number of planes here, no? You see, suppose you take a rocket and just shoot up, and every inch of your movement, if you have very careful camera to see, every scene is different. You go higher and higher and higher. You view the world totally different. Then you see the whole earth, maybe one ball of fire. Just like a small ball. Go further, it drops in a dot, and then dot vanishes. So, as the mind soars into the higher plane, if Ramakrishna is Brahman absolute to some sadhaka, then he will live in that Brahman consciousness. That means there is no identity, no question of coming. But if you like a bhakta, you want to worship him as God, creator, he has come out of love, like Krishna, like Rama. Yes, there's Rama Loka, Krishna Loka, all these abodes are there, and this is called God absolute, takes different form, and they are permanent there. Ramakrishna gave the example that there are in the ocean, there are some places where the ice does not melt. So these are the planes where there one can go by sadhana and live with them to feel like that living presence of Krishna or Ramakrishna, and smile and dance and sing, live in that consciousness. It's possible.
There's a follow-up to that. Will all initiated people go to Ramakrishna Loka at the end of this body?
That depends on each one's spiritual practice. Initiated devotees got the keys in their hand to unlock the treasure house. No? God, how to reach that Ramakrishna's plane in whatever level one likes. That key is given, but you have to operate on the key. That means japa, meditation, prayer. One must have to do much of all these things, and as much as one can do, so much of the experience will come, and it is whether you will reach or not depends on the sadhana of individual. Means how much one is practicing in their life. Mere getting mantra will not do. Suppose someone gets that, this is example, Christ gave the example. One father had 3 children, no? And they give equal amount of money to the 3 children. And after 1 year passed, he asked the 3 children, and then, my son, what did you do with the money? One boy said, oh, you gave the money. I ate. I ran with a restaurant and eat, and with my friends I make fun and joke, and then it's over. Oh, it's over, okay. He asked another one, hey boy, what did you do? Oh, I kept your money because you gave it to me. I have kept in my safe bank account. So it is still there. Oh. And another boy said, hey, I gave you the money. What did you do? Oh, I make this business and I make it double. Now Christ asks, who the father wants to give more money, to whom he will give? To the person who has already spoiled the money, didn't do any very careful, attentive use of the money. One is kept in the vault, like mantra is kept in the vault. No practice, nothing, no sincere effort. Okay? Or who has multiplied. I used to meditate little, now I feel little more joy by repeating. I used to do 10 times japa, I do 20 times japa, I am doing 30 times japa, I am doing all the time in between japa. Who will be given more? God will give more whom? To whom? Just the same answer. So, yes, it depends on our spiritual practice. Yeah.
How's the time? How's our time?
Almost finished. So,
there are a couple more questions. I don't know if we have time for more questions, but Anirvan asks, Maharaj, how to live life by touching with one hand God and do karma in the other hand? And Kenopanishad asks, can you please tell something about meeting of Thakur and Rabindranath Tagore on 2nd May 1883?
Oh, that will take a long time, and I don't know. You can read it, brother, anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, there is a beautiful book written by Swami Medhosananda on Sri Ramakrishna and Rabindranath Tagore. That you should read. That is in Bengali, of course, but it is available. It's a very wonderful Ramakrishna Institute of Culture have published that book. There is a relationship with Ramakrishna and Rabindranath Tagore beautifully, and what a research work he has done. Okay.
And how to live life by touching with one hand?
How to? That's it. You got the mantra. You repeat the mantra. You are doing every work. You think that I am, oh Lord, I am doing for you. That is touching the feet of Lord. And doing the work, mind touches God. So this is a practice, brother. The whole spiritual practices we're reading in so many books, all the process of jnana, karma, yoga, bhakti, all yogas, these are the touching the Lord, in holding the hand. Keeping the world, we'll have to work, but to reach that goal also parallelly by practice.
Very last question, which is a big question. You may have to
defer it for next time.
Defer for next time, but here it is. I am told all paths of yoga are paths to liberation, but being a very naive explorer, I want to explore all these amazing possibilities and use them to do good in this world. I feel confused. This is Vikrant.
Oh, yeah, don't do good to the world first, brother. We'll have to do good to ourselves first. My meaning, first don't think that you can do anything to the world. First you think that let me be transformed. Let my character be transformed. Let me be more intense in my spiritual practice. Let me be more loving as I love other people. Let me find less fault in others. Let me see the goodness in others and appreciate them. And let me feel for the suffering of others. Let this be the attitude. That is the way. I cannot do. The world is so big. I cannot help some person who is dying in my next door room. So we are not that. Spiritual life actually blossoms with this personal development. So it is, we should pay more attention to the development, personality development. And using the 4 yogas, there's a big subject. We can talk about that. If you are there in any other classes, you can put at the end of the question. All classes have some question answer opportunity. Please call during that time in evening class or in next Sunday class or next month class, whatever.
Thank you for joining us. Next week, Swami Sarvadevananda will speak on karma, its implication and impact. Every Sunday morning at 11 Pacific time, we have a spiritual talk, and the rest of the week we also have classes throughout the week from Swami Sarvadevananda ji, Swami Satyamananda ji, and others.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.